Dan had created a great company who's employing a lot of families, and he's doing great work for his clients. Now that he's older, he knew he needed to step back from all the responsibilities and then embrace this new adventure, this next adventure in life. And after a lot of thought and a lot of work, he sold his business. And then he came to realize after the sale that he messed up in a few areas during this transition. It's 6 things actually specifically. One thing to note though here with this video, it's not just for business owners, because these are important challenges that every retiree faces, whether you're an employee or a business owner. Some of the things are going to be business specific. So I'll start by sharing a very important concept that every retiree should know, and it's not just for business owners, but every retiree should know this to make retirement better. And then I'll share Dan's story and the mistakes that he made that many entrepreneurs make when transitioning into retirement. 2 of these are lifestyle mistakes. 1 is investment, 1 is tax related, and then 2 are actually legal or kind of the estate planning side. But all of them are very important. By the way, I'm Dave Zoller, and I own Streamline Financial with Tim and Luke and Sean. It's a retirement planning company, and we've been helping people retire for a decade and a half. And as you watch this video, let me know if you like it by clicking the like button or giving me a comment or some feedback below. So first, I want to share that key concept that we should understand that can help make this next stage the best stage of life yet. So let me pull up my screen here. If we don't understand this graph, we might end up struggling a little bit with fulfillment or meaning or purpose after the sale. So it's important to understand these 2 types of intelligence. And it comes from Arthur C. Brooks' book, From Strength to Strength. On this side, we have intelligence level, and then this is age as we get older. And we can see this first one, this blue line going up quickly, and that's fluid intelligence. This is the ability to think logically and solve new problems and navigate new solutions quickly. It involves really being able to think on your feet, recognize patterns, and solve those problems quickly. Essentially, I'd say that this blue line is raw mental processing power. I imagine it like a quick thinking entrepreneur who can spot the gaps in a market and then take action right away and innovate and then solve the problem on the fly. However, Brooks, the author, points out that fluid intelligence, it tends to peak relatively early in adulthood, and then it naturally declines thereafter, which is a normal thing. We still have it, but it's just not like it used to be. But we have something else that continues to grow. That's crystallized intelligence. That's represented with this green line here. And that's the accumulation of knowledge, skills, and experiences that we gather over our lifetime. I'd actually call that just wisdom, right? It's about the richness of your mental library. It's not about how quickly you can think on your feet, but really it's rather the depth of your wisdom and that richness of the anecdotes that you have and the experiences and just the expertise that you've gained over your lifetime. I kind of think of it like Warren Buffett, right? He's got those experiences. He provides invaluable advice that really can only come from years of navigating that business world. And the good thing about that crystallized intelligence is that it continues to grow and deepen as we age. So why does this matter? Why is that important to us? Well, for business owners who are transitioning towards retirement, understanding the shift of fluid to crystallized intelligence, that can actually be liberating. It reframes what might be perceived as maybe a loss when we sell a business, or maybe the loss of slower reflexes, or perhaps not being able to stay on the cutting edge of every trend. It makes that more of a valuable gain, because we've got that wealth of knowledge. We've got the deep well of experience that can be leveraged in impactful ways. I could talk about this a lot more, but the main goal of this video is just to share the mistakes of Dan and other business owners so that you can avoid them. But if you'd like another video on this concept, I'm actually thinking about getting Arthur Brooks on the channel to talk about this specifically as it relates to retirement. So let me know by commenting below if that would be helpful or if you want more videos on that topic. But for now, let's move over to Dan. He had this unexpected feeling after the sale, and it was it could be called seller's remorse, right? And it's quite a common feeling when you sell a business, because when you sell a business, it's like getting rid of your last child, and not getting rid of them, but really your last child going out into the world, and you started something from nothing. You raised it, you made it successful and helped it take its first steps, and it became successful. And then after the sale, you can't help it anymore. You're no longer guiding it. And that can be a hard thing. So That's actually where being aware of those two types of intelligences can prove very useful. But let's get into the mistakes. Number one for Dan, it's related to that feeling of control. He didn't expect this, but in his business, he had quite a bit of control overseeing things, right? You can guide the direction of his business and direct input, and really that results in revenue. The feedback loop of decisions he was making or helping make or helping the team make was a little bit more controllable. After the sale, Dan had a challenge. One of the hard parts was moving part of his allocation of now these investable funds, which was cash after the sale, into passive investment vehicles where he had almost no control. So what we ended up doing was we introduced the control of outcome as the main objective and the control of taxes as the main objective. And when it comes to investments, what we did was, again, there are a range of outcomes and you're going to be somewhere in the middle. When it came to his retirement, we wanted to narrow the range of outcomes, and that had to do with what investments he held. And then we also prepared for multiple outcomes in his plan, the good and the bad scenarios. Now, the second mistake Dan wasn't preparing for was a change in lifestyle. And what I mean by that is as a business owner, he was able to deduct a lot of his lifestyle, right? And it's very different than being a non-business owner. For instance, it's related to cars, related to dining or to travel even, and many other things. Now, once he was done, he wasn't doing that anymore, and he didn't think about how expenses might change. Now, he wasn't worried about running out of money, so he felt like he didn't have to create a draft retirement income plan. But the only problem with that is, or what often happens when someone isn't clear on income and expenses and what is going to be used for what purpose after the sale, they might end up allocating their cash to investments that don't really support their income plan at all. Or maybe they're doing the opposite objective of what they need. Much of the time we've seen allocation after a business sale to be a lot in cash or in ultra conservative and stay that way for quite a long time because of there's many different reasons for it, but that's a trend that we see. But the nice thing about getting clear on your income withdrawal plan is that it just tells you exactly how you should be invested or could be invested to achieve those goals. And then you can adjust it after that. But that's step one, what I'd recommend. Again, related to that control of the outcome, we're often lowering the risk and the potential range of outcomes to just make things more predictable. Now, the third mistake for Dan was investment related. And that's after the sale, he had a bunch of cash in the bank. And then all of a sudden, all these attractive investments started coming his way. And his friends and acquaintances had all these different ideas. So that's just something to be ready for. Many seem like great opportunities too, and they might be. But the tip here from other business owners who have done it is to just wait and don't yet get into any of these maybe private deals or things like that just yet. Some people get into a bunch of random different investments because they've got the time and the cash to study it. But first, create a plan that works, and then that plan can guide you on how to invest and what percentage allocation of net worth should be for those potential great deals, or you know what I mean. They should be how much you should have in maybe private equity or real estate deals or things like that. So the plan and the planner, they act like a guide to keep you on track, right? Just keep you towards that desired future that you identified. And that's how we view Streamline Financial, right? We're the guides that walk this path hundreds of times before with other people. And we could do it with people who ask us and need the help. But it's also important not to forget how you're wired and how that doesn't change after the sale. Because one of the traits that made you successful business owner, or many business owners, is that that propensity for risk, their ability to take risk, right? That led to a lot of the success. And because of this, people after the sale often get involved in highly speculative investments with high risk reward. So it's, again, something to explore, but just don't rush into it, is what other people, what their opinion is, the other business owners I know. The fourth mistake was not a mistake of Dan, this business owner, because he planned for taxes pre-sale, but not everybody does it. Another client who actually did it right, he was getting ready to sell, and he had 2 years until most likely the sale date was. And what they also did was they would regularly give to charity. But part of their tax reduction plan was to pre-fund their charitable giving during these last 2 high income years and business sale years. and give away a percentage of the business actually before the sale. That helped a lot on taxes. And it might sound complex, but it happens a lot. There's a lot of firms out there that can do it and do it with not much cost. But this lowered their taxes big time, and it helped on the sale as well. And then they had pre-funded this giving fund that took care of the next 30 years of giving. It was their donor advised fund, and they granted it out to charity, all the charities and churches they wanted to, year after year after the sale. Now, if you have some investment real estate, listen to this quick story about a different client. He was having lunch. I'll share my screen. He was having lunch with his friend, and this guy had a problem. He had a donation. He wanted to make a donation to a charity, a cause that he cared about, but all of his money was tied up in non-liquid assets, right? And he didn't have the cash available for the donation. So he was at lunch with one of his business partners, and they owned this building 50-50. And the one who needed the cash asked this one, hey, would you ever be interested in owning 5% more of this building? And the building was cash flow positive and a really great investment. So he said, yeah, in a second I'd do it. Why? And this guy said, great. What I'm going to do, put 5% in my donor advised fund, and then you can buy that 5% from them. So the end result of this is he was now 45% owner. He was 55% owner, and he also had $100K in his donor advised fund to then grant out to charity. So sorry for the bad drawings here, but that's one way to explain it. So if you're real estate, again, talk to a CPA, talk to your investment experts, but that could be interesting. But also, if you've already sold and you missed the tax, some of these tax reduction techniques or strategies, there's still other ones related to tax and estate planning that you won't want to ignore. But let's get on to mistake number 5. And this is more legal related. And that is, once you have the liquid monies that's outside of the business after the sale, not reviewing everything through the lens of, say, the asset protection or creditor protection could wind up badly, right? This could often be a bigger risk than anything investment related or anything, any of the tax risks. So that's an important one. Then number 6 is related to estate as well. And that is just handing the wealth to unprepared heirs, right? So we're thinking a little bit more in the future here, but you want to have things set up because you're creating this estate plan. And a lot of times estate plans and the attorneys involved, it's focused on legal and taxes, right? But sometimes it's not always focused on what's the conversations around what's best for each family member. You know, there's a difference between estate planning and then wealth transfer. Estate planning is arranging the management and all the disposal of the assets in the estate in life and after death. And the focus is estate tax, lowering that, and income tax, lowering that, right? It's the legal documents and the tax planning and asset distribution. That's the focus of estate planning. But wealth transfer, on the other hand, that goes beyond just distribution of assets. It's really about passing the values, the life lessons, the family history, and then also charitable intentions alongside just with the financial wealth. It's some of the intangible things that you want to pass on. And both of those, estate planning and wealth transfer, should be working together. Now, if you're looking for more high net worth planning videos, here's a playlist of one of the videos that is newer is titled How the Rich Invest. So it goes over a little bit of details on that. And then also, if you need to talk, you can reach out to one of us by clicking on the link below this video or on the side. And then I'll see you in the next video. Take care.